imaginative short films. I like this picture. This is a newer cover of The Magician's Nephew. And the reason why I bring it up is because the book was one of the first to hint at the Porous Multiverse and almost use it to create a situation where any character could go anywhere at will. I'm going to bring in some sci-fi short concepts that do exactly that. Walking through the examples starting with no multiverse, a porous multiverse, and finally a porous multiverse for each example. Now that you know how porous multiverses affect environment and characters, I'm going to show the sci-fi short film ideas. These are examples of increasing complexity, and they show the effects the porous multiverse has on every area of life, like society, culture, technology, and the environment. I'm going to go through each example and show what things are like without the multiverse concept at all. Then with the multiverse concept, and then with the porous multiverse added on top of that. So what I need to do is take a fairly interesting world and add porosity to it to make it fantastic. Start with a human world, close to Earth, something people are familiar with. New York is well enough for the example to work, 12 million people. Add the multiverse to it, and in New York's mirror dimension you have modern day Atlantis. Maybe have one denizen cross the universal barrier. Okay, that would be the Little Mermaid, and it's been done before. Now add in porosity to the multiverse, allow those two cities to coexist in the same universe, they're at the same shore. Suddenly you've got a very different dynamic. Are these two cities going to get along? Which one's going to be dominant? How does this affect individual lives? We're not talking about V here where the aliens invade Earth. We're talking about Atlanta, Georgia moving next door to Manhattan, so to speak. In this simplest example, we have basic social and environmental interaction between regions and people. One last example, and this one will be completely unbelievable. It's amazing. We start out with an absurd environment. Everything there is haywire. Evil roams throughout the universe. No galaxy is safe. But that doesn't matter as much because we're going to concentrate on a small band of intergalactic travelers on the run from the bad guys on a long road trip through space. They try to get along with the evil empire, but the kingdom keeps making things worse and worse until the group reaches a breaking point. It's time to risk everything in one final desperate move. In a basic, non-porous multiverse, it's time to abandon ship. The galaxy can't possibly get any worse, so they run the insane risk of trying to find a new universe to live in. All that they have access to in their non-porous multiverse are similar environments accessible only through a ship-sized wormhole. This is the limitations I've been talking about. They find a universe similar to theirs. The people there are like them and they're sympathetic, but the universe is on its last legs. Things are just winding their way down, naturally. It can't be helped. They're running out of food, resources. Normally, that would be the end. But in a porous multiverse, the entire universal civilization can jump over to the other universe, immediately appearing on every planet simultaneously. The evil kingdom is overwhelmed and they're helpless against the newcomers, so they're defeated. The heroes live happily ever after, if you can count undead zombies as alive. See, the porous multiverse doesn't mean things come out the right way. It just means things get more complicated and incredible, which makes for great sci-fi animated short films. This project has a reach as far as your imagination can take it. Space is not the final frontier. Your mind is. The imagination shown in these short film sci-fi stories lets the porous multiverse idea recommend itself for a widespread adoption across other genres and media. For genres, fantasy would be the closest to sci-fi as a genre to benefit from it. I see fantasy as generally restricted to the Middle Ages in Europe on Earth. I'm sure there's exceptions to it, but that's how I see it. The porous multiverse frees fantasy from that small locale mentality and takes it to other planets and times. We've already seen in James Cameron's Avatar how well disparate character and environment matchups work with the romance genre. Kate and Leopold is another movie that takes romance across time. So the audience for this idea is not primarily sci-fi buffs. Comedy makes use of anachronisms regularly, but it can still benefit from the openness of travel and from disparate environments. Drama is a way to take a very serious look at realistic culture clashes on an individual level. Think of an African William Wallace and an Irish Henry VIII, for example. There are diverse characters and environments that have not had a chance to interact in history, but would make for interesting stories. Some of the genre examples I list are too complex for a short sci-fi animated film, which is why the Porous Multiverse is recommendable for other media. Feature films neglect the multiverse concept almost universally, which presents a great opportunity to expose a huge audience to a new concept. Literature can examine the porous multiverse with the advantage of narration and detail and explanation that you can't get outside of, say, a DVD commentary. Games have the greatest potential outside of sci-fi animated short films to explore the variety of a porous multiverse. So, to sum up the porous multiverse, just look at what you can do with this idea and where you can go with it. You can tell wildly imaginative stories throughout different genres and formats with a concept that is new to most people. You have the freedom to move characters and environments around and create diverse new cultures and landscapes, and then generate innovative scenarios and conflicts. I hope this gets you thinking about your own upcoming projects, but for me, as a sci-fi animated short concept and story creator, the Porous Multiverse is a dream come true. Thanks for everybody who's in my references. Not all of you I got permission from.